Hey there friends, welcome to the second episode of this guitar video making series, where I will walk you through recording and demystifying making guitar content in 2024. This series will cover what to get, how to record your audio, how to record your video, and tying it up all together. In the previous video, I talked about what hardware you should get for recording. So obviously in the second video, we'll talk about the software that you should get to get started. Keep in mind though, the software instruments that I will be suggesting in this video are more focused towards the modern rock or metal genres, but I'll try to suggest software that covers a lot of ground, and also do check out the offerings from each companies because they have a lot of different kits or software for the different genres too. Also in this guide, I will suggest software that are as mix ready as possible, as I don't want to put too much stress on mixing for now. In the future, if you decide to go deep into mixing, the software that I'll be suggesting here will be as powerful, and you can craft your own sound with it. So the first software that you should get is a DAW, or a digital audio workstation. This is the main software that you will use to create and record your music. It's good to research on this topic and pick the best DAW for your preference, as it will take years to master at least one of the DAWs. As I can only speak from experience, I will suggest Reaper to start with. I suggest Reaper because it's powerful, it's full-featured, and it has an unlimited trial period. You don't need to pirate anything. Please don't pirate software. The only downside that I can see from Reaper is it's not as polished, at least in the UI side, as compared to like a Logic or a Cubase. But it's very powerful. You can customize the themes, you can customize hotkeys. And one good thing about it, it's very affordable if you decide to get a license as well. As for other options, you can use Logic, Cubase, even Pro Tools. All have their own pros and cons. I wouldn't suggest using Cubase or Pro Tools though, because they are quite expensive, especially the full-featured ones. For example, I considered Cubase before, but I saw that the full-featured one costs around more than $500, so I can't afford it. So I highly recommend starting out with Reaper, and when you get familiar with using a DAW, you can upgrade to the more expensive ones if you like. And the second software you should get is a way to make your guitar make sounds in your DAW. We use what we call an amp sim, or an amp simulator. So you can record your guitar directly without using any amps or pedals and using mics. In a way, it simulates all of those inside the software. And I think this is the main reason why guitar content sounds good nowadays. Because of all the great software, you can get world-class sounding amps. And you don't need to spend thousands of dollars to get that boutique amp and a high quality mic. So for this category, I will suggest 3 amps, all from the company Neural DSP. And the first is the Archetype Pliny, or the Archetype Pliny X. I think the Archetype Pliny is the most versatile if you want to use it in different genres. The second one is the Archetype Nolly, which I personally use. If you're more into like modern rock, modern metal, I think this one is the one to get. And lastly is the Archetype Cory-Wong for those clean sounds, and also if you use a bass to record as well. And the third software you need is a software bassist. If you have your own bass guitar and you plan to record it, you can skip getting this one. But for my case, I don't have a bass guitar, a high quality bass guitar, and I also don't want to maintain another instrument, so I programmed my bassist instead. For this one, I'm suggesting any of the Submission Audio products. I think most of their products cater towards the modern metal or rock types. Rock types like in Pokemon. And you can also check out the Get Good Drums Nolly Bass. The GGD Nolly Bass is a bit more straightforward and isn't as featured packed as the Submission Audio products, but it's great for quickly starting and writing songs. And then lastly are the drums. I think drum sounds make or break a song, at least a demo. If you get cheap drums, at least cheap sample drums, the song kind of falls apart and it doesn't feel real. And I feel like acoustic drums are hardest to sample, at least for me. So getting a good quality drum library, I think, is paramount. And I'm pretty sure most of us don't have an amazing drum room. We don't have thousands of dollars to have our own studio. And we also don't have legendary drum gear to record with. So I suggest getting a good drum library to start to get that polished sound. I started with Easy Drummer from TuneTrack, and it's great for starting out, but I would suggest learning how to program instead of getting an Easy Drummer type software, because in the long run you'd want to program your own drum grooves instead of like copy and pasting things from Easy Drummer. So the one software that I would suggest for you to start with is one of the Get Good Drums One Kit Wonder Packs, because you just need to load them on your track and it will already sound great. You don't need to do any mixing, you just need to program drums and that's it. But yeah, start early, start learning how to program instead of relying on getting pre-made grooves. And then if you're looking for like synth sounds, violin sounds, and something that you can add to your productions, that's another rabbit hole that I won't go to into this video. And I wouldn't suggest buying software like these outright because one, it's expensive and I wouldn't want you guys to invest for something expensive and then not use in the future. But if you're keen to try some of the orchestral stuff or some synth instruments, I suggest checking out Spitfire Audio's Labs collection because most of those are free, but their samples sound great. And of course, there will be free alternatives for this one. You can pretty much find any free software instrument on the internet. I just wanted to give you an idea what people usually use to get that high quality polished sound that you see. But yeah, this video doesn't mean that you need to buy those. I'm just giving you suggestions. And for the other DAWs like Logic, they have built-in synth instruments like Alchemy. They have built-in bass and drummer programs as well. You can start with those, but again, the sound will be very different from what you expect from getting one of the high-quality samples that I mentioned. And that's pretty much for this episode. Next up, I'll be walking you through how to set up the hardware side. And then the next after that, I'll walk you through the software side as well. And again, we're taking this step by step. I don't want to skip on anything, as I want to make this series to be able to help even someone who's not really familiar with making all of these work. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And do check out the first video if you're not sure what hardware to get or what recording gear you should get. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!